Life will only meet you at your standard that you set. So if you are living in fear and scarcity, that's a standard that you've set for yourself. And so that's something that I had to do to shift my identity from being fearful of doing what I'm doing right now, being on camera, to deciding that I was going to be a different identity. And I had to shift that within myself before anything would happen. And I just decided. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. If you're new here, I'm Samantha, and I'm a therapist, and I've been doing a video every day for 100 days. This is video 100. We're in triple digits now. Oh my God. Thank you all for watching so much. And I wanted to talk about fear today for the 100th video to kind of celebrate a little bit, getting over fear and getting over the fear of judgment and the fear of just hitting the record button. I've seen so many comments on different people's videos in the past where people are so scared to just hit record. And I was for years. And so when you're scared of something, you're almost like in the future where you have no tools. Your tools are in your now, right now. We only have right now. So a string of nows creates the future. So the most important thing you can do is be very aware of what you're doing in your now. What are you thinking? What are you feeling? What are you believing about yourself? And once you get all that in check, you'll see patterns of the way that you live, really. How you live comes from the standard you set for yourself, which is a string of thoughts, feelings, beliefs, actions. Are you committed to yourself? What kind of standard do you have? Are you consistent with yourself? Are you congruent with the identity that you say you want to be? And to start a channel or to do something that you're afraid of, you've got to shift something. You've got to make that decision that, no, this is who I am now. I'm not scared anymore. Or, yeah, I feel kind of scared, but I'm going to feel the fear and do it anyway, as they say. I think there's a book called that, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. You've got to feel the fear, and then you've got to do it anyway. Sometimes that's the only thing that breaks that fear is just doing it, exposing yourself to it. But then I think there's one more step we can take, which is just analyzing, why are we so fearful in the first place? What are we fearful of? Sometimes people feel like they're going to die. That's a negative cognition that some people might have. I'm going to die. I'm going to pass out. I'm going to be embarrassed. People are going to judge me. I think a lot of it is people are going to judge me. And you have to get to a place where you don't care what anybody thinks. You only care what you think. That is a place of power to get to. That was a place that I had to learn to get to. For the most part, I really didn't care what most people thought. I always did what I wanted to do. They might not have known that, but in my mind, I would always think, nah, I'm going to do what I want to do, because I'm a little stubborn in some areas, and that's okay. But I kind of knew and was convicted in my own self I just knew myself. And so I kind of let go of needing the approval of others. And I learned that over the years. I probably kind of perfected that in the most recent years, but in my 30s was when I really started doing that after my divorce. Went through a lot of heartbreak and heartache and could have written a country song about it. And there was a lot going on. And it's I've always been confident, but also made myself small. And so I want you guys to really think about that for yourselves. Where are you keeping yourself small? And is that the standard you want to hold for your life? I don't think so. You got to raise that bar up. And you've got to decide, what am I going to commit to doing for myself, not for anybody else? Who am I being? Because that is what will reflect out in your reality and manifest. And so you've got to figure out, who do I want to become? What do I need to do in my life? What do I need to maybe let go of? What do I need to stop doing to become this person? And for me, one of the things I had to do was I was hitting the snooze button a lot on my phone. And that became like a habit in the last couple years. And I was like, nope, can't do that anymore. So I put my phone in the bathroom at night from now on. And then I got an alarm clock, like a physical alarm clock, pushed it all the way as far as I could away from my head. And now I have to get out of bed to turn it off. I haven't hit snooze one time since, and I haven't gotten back in bed. And so, well, actually there were probably a couple times that I did that, but it was on the weekend when it didn't matter, and I got no sleep the night before hardly. So there was a reason. And mostly the reason was probably something fun I was doing the night before or something. But most of the time, like 99.9% of the time, I go to bed around the same exact time, and I definitely get up at the same time. And I decided, you know what, if I want to set the standard for myself, I've got to live the standard too. I've got to be the example. I've got to live this, commit to myself, stay consistent and grounded in this new identity. And then that fateful day on Memorial Day this year, I said, you're hitting record today. So I hit record, and I have not stopped since. And each day that goes by, I get a little, I'm not really even nervous anymore. I get to the point where I'm like, what am I going to talk about? And there's this feeling of that like bubbles up, and it says, am I going to be able to do a video? That's what comes up now. It's not even I'm nervous anymore. It's just like, what am I going to talk about? Can I even talk for a whole video? And then it just kind of comes out. And so like I've been saying, I'm going to plan videos a little bit better in the future, but for now I'm just kind of like finding my voice. And I really recommend you guys do this, because when you find your voice, you don't feel small anymore, and you don't feel scared anymore. You're just connected to yourself. You don't have to post these videos. You could just take them and listen to them, get to know yourself by watching yourself and by listening to yourself. It's very humbling. And for me, it has helped me love myself more than I ever have. It's very emotional, actually, if you get to that place with it. And not in a bad way. It's in a good way. You just start to feel this appreciation for yourself. And remember, what you appreciate appreciates. So make those deposits into yourself every day. Those good feeling thoughts, those affirmations that are positive, that bring you a positive ROI instead of a negative ROI. You want your account to be in the black instead of the red every day. So it's like, where's your bar? What is your new standard for yourself that you're not going to go beneath? And again, for me, it was a video every day. I declared it publicly, and I haven't stopped since. There were a few times where in the beginning when my camera overheated and I had to do a couple of lives, and I'd never done lives before, and that was kind of fun. I actually had fun doing that. So you'll find that when you do something like this, that, you know, for me, this was always in me. I think that I was always meant to speak, which is literally the exact opposite of what I ever wanted to do. Public speaking in any form or fashion was a 0%, I'm going to do that. Like negative 0% to infinity and beyond. It was, I mean, anytime in class when they'd be like, you're going to do an oral presentation, the word presentation like made my heart it made me want to puke. So it gave me a heart attack almost. I mean, before I'd go up, my whole body was shaking, and I couldn't handle it. And, but yet I had this thing inside me that wanted to come out. So I know there's something in you that you're not fully looking at that's there, that's a gift that you were given. And I want you to figure out what that is. And sometimes it really is just creating something that you're connecting to yourself with. And so for me, there's nothing better than just like recording myself and watching it back and listening to what I'm saying and trying to do better each day and trying to create something that will hopefully help a lot of people, because I'm thinking about the person that's listening and hoping that, hey, that's my intention, that you're getting something out of it, that you connect to you, that you're empowered through my words, and you just start knowing that you're this person and you have gifts to give. And a lot of times also they get buried because we get so busy and stressed, and pretty soon we've forgotten who we are. So remember that you're powerful. You are the operant power of your reality. You're creating everything. Everything is a mirror to what you're thinking and assuming. There's no one to change but self, as Neville Goddard said, I guess. He's not alive anymore, but he said that. He isn't still saying that. That would be interesting if he were. In fact, well, there's AI versions of him that are still saying it, but yeah. Anyway. But yeah, he was a pretty cool dude, and he was pretty smart, and there really is nothing to change but yourself. You change that inner world, you find that inner peace. I'll teach you guys how to create inner peace, because there's nothing better than that. I was talking to clients today about how if you're healthy and you're at peace, you're wealthy. Even if you have money and you don't have health or peace, you're poor. But if you've got your health and you can laugh sometimes, you can smile and appreciate yourself, man, and that inner peace, that's priceless. If you got all that, you're rich, you're abundant all the time. So really appreciate yourself, and you'll notice what happens in your external world. Remember, do not rely on the external world for anything. You're creating it from your perception. So it first starts with you and your self-concept and how you see yourself and who you're being. You get what you're being. You get what you are. You don't get what you want. You get what you're being. That frequency is emitting out from you. So decide what your frequency is. That frequency is being created from your inner stability, your standards for yourself, how you feel about yourself. That is what is emitting that frequency. And then whatever matches that is going to show up in your life. And it's going to be mirrored back through people and events and all kinds of stuff. So just look at that as, hey, this is my evidence. Okay, now let's create some new evidence. Let's start thinking new thoughts. Let's start pumping some positivity into our brain today and see what happens externally. And the worst that can happen is you just start feeling better. Oh man, that would be terrible, wouldn't it? That you're feeling a little bit better every day just by practicing just a little bit. So yeah, take that with you. Practice this. And yeah, thank you for celebrating with me 100 videos. Thank you for being with me on this journey. I can't wait to see what happens in another 100 videos and then another 100 videos. Oh my, I can't even imagine. It's going to be awesome. So thank you all for watching. Thank you for being with me through this. It was scary at first, I will say, but just knowing I'm touching some people's hearts out there and I'm helping them, that makes me want to keep going. So keep sending your comments to me. I love reading everything. And yeah, you guys take care of yourself this eve. And I'll be back tomorrow. Thank you for watching. Bye.